Good morning and welcome back to Withrow Urban Homestead. My name is Judith and it's time to work in the garden. But first, let's feed the birds and the squirrels. While the birds and the squirrels eat, let's check on our seedlings in the garage. They both look really good. We have red cabbage on this side and red onions over here. Both were sown March 19th. And the red cabbage germinated in 4 days, really quickly. And the red onions in 7 days. Both are on a heat mat, which stays on 24 hours a day, and under lights, which are on a timer to go off overnight. They have 12 hours on and 12 hours off. Now it looks like they need some water, and it's time for that greenhouse dome to come off of the onions. Bottom watering is best, so you don't pour water on the top and erode the soil. We'll leave them to soak up that water, and any that's left we'll pour off before we leave the garden. Now let's go out into the alleyway and check on the strawberries. Remember how we worked and thinned the June-bearing strawberry bed and potted them up for the neighbors? Let's go see if there's any left. I really enjoy the birds, so we're going to leave them to eat. I'm hoping I can show you how the male cardinal feeds the female. Let's go check on those strawberries. There's 4 left. All 21 of the individual 4-inch pots were taken, and a few of the big ones. Let's go dig up and pot up some more. I started cleaning up this bed 5 days ago. It had gotten so thick and overgrown, so we potted up some individually to give away, but I only have big pots left. I'm not going to pot up any more in small pots. I don't have the time, and I don't want to use up the potting soil, but I still want to share with my neighbors. Now remember, these are June bearing, ready at the end of May. Last year we missed the harvest because my husband Dale was in the hospital having his liver transplant surgery. And that's the reason the bed got so overgrown. I didn't take care of them last year. So there's 4 big pots and 4 medium pots. And remember, there's no potting soil in these. They can't just be left to grow in those pots. They either need to be transplanted or moved into a bigger pot. And then there's more than one strawberry plant in each one of those. And I posted a sign on the alleyway so they can see. And if you're lucky to get free plants from a neighbor, check for weeds, because these will have weeds and bird seed in them. Let's get them watered. I have some right there in the garage. I'll come back every day to check on the strawberries and water them again because today and tomorrow the highs are in the 80s. It's crazy. If you've noticed, I've already taken off my windbreaker and soon these long sleeves are going to come off. Now, do you see this compost pile? Last year I just piled it on. I didn't even try to chop and drop it like I normally do. I was busy taking care of my husband. So slowly this year we're going to work on getting this moved into the new compost in the back garden. But today I want to steal some of these cinder blocks. I need to set up another rain barrel. Last year I stole some of its cinder blocks to make this compost pile higher. I have 3 rain barrels with a simple setup, so let me show you. My rain barrel setup is simple. They're not connected. They're all separate. And I think this is an old shop vac hose that we found at the house. I have that connected to the downspout diverter. We did have to put that in. And I just put it into the top of the barrel. Simple. That's what works best for me. I need to set up the second barrel. Let me show you how. In winter, I like to store my rain barrels upside down to prevent any of the spout or any other piece freezing. The lid twists off. There's a hole in the middle and a filter to keep out debris and breeding mosquitoes. It has a gasket for the inside of the lid. I need to get this mesh cleaned up and set up the 2 cinder blocks. I want the rain barrels high enough that a 5-gallon bucket can fit under the spigot. The higher the rain barrels, the better the water pressure. The lower the rain barrels, the less water pressure. I never run these with a hose, but if you want to connect a garden hose to your rain barrels, you're either going to have to put them really high or connect them to a pump. It's really simple. Let's water these strawberries with some rainwater because we recently disturbed their roots. And we need to replace that soil that we dug up along the edge. Now my goal is to have 1 strawberry plant every 12 inches. Do you see that tool? That's 12 inches. But the priority today is to get the edge clear of plants because that's where the netting is going to be held in place. Now that the edge is clear, we can work on thinning between the plants. And last, the main strawberry plants probably have more than 1 growing together and they need to be separated, but we'll wait and do that for the fall. The everbearing strawberries that we moved from the front garden also need watering. The 5 days of rain predicted is now only cut back to Sunday. So these were planted 5 days ago, and I'm concerned that they could dry out. Those make fruit all summer, with their heaviest crop in June and late summer. They make less fruit, but more often. The June bearing behind me, fruit once, at the end of May. Occasional fruit pop up in the summer. So 2 different varieties. Now let's water the winter sown seedlings. Remember, the red cabbages come up, but let's see if the red onions have sprouted. Now, if you watched the video where I planted these, I said I wasn't going to plant any between the raspberries and the blackberries, but I did. I'm not used to gardening and filming at the same time, so I might have to move this later. We'll see. I do expect these strawberries, when they're transplanted, for the big outer leaves to die, but those middle leaves in the center will keep growing. The onions have germinated, but if you notice, that athletic tape came off. It's definitely not the right kind. Remember, this year we're experimenting with different varieties. Let's get them watered, then fix the tape. The red cabbage needs water too, but it's best to bottom water like we did the seedlings in the garage. Let it soak up from the bottom because there's holes in these jugs. If I poured water in with a spout, it would just erode the soil. Can you see inside at the seedlings? Do you see the baby plants? Because the jug is wet, I'm going to use my stickiest tape, the Gorilla Tape. Now that's better. It shouldn't come open. It should stay sealed until it's ready to be planted. It made it easy to water, but you want it to stay closed. Have you noticed how good the flowering looks? There's a lot of different varieties in there. Right now, the green leaves grow, and then later they'll take turns flowering. The daffodils are almost finished, and this fall we need to divide them. They've gotten too thick, which cuts down on their blossoms. Both of these seeds were sown March 19th, but they took longer to germinate than the ones in the garage because it's colder outside. That's the whole point. You sow them in the jug and they germinate when they're ready. The red cabbage only took 7 days and the red onions, 12. Remember, I'm going to write it on the jug so it's easier to remember, but since they're wet, I can't do it right now. Now, I did put it down in my phone, and then I need to remember to come back and write it when they're dry. 7 days and 12 days. Next, I went to winter sow eggplant, sweet red peppers, hot peppers, and tomatoes. I've decided not to do any more spring veggies. But in the ground, I will grow carrots and beets, but those don't need to be started in jugs. Do you see all the little green sprouts? That's mint. I do let it grow in my ground, and I control it by covering it with cardboard every year. Soon we're going to be harvesting that for mint tea, but it's still kind of tiny. I'm going to let it grow just a little bit more. And I have some coffee grounds. I'm going to spread this around the base of the berry plants because they like its acidic content. And it's better than throwing it in the trash. It has warmed up and I need to take off this long sleeve shirt, but first I need some sunscreen. I'm going to go in the house, but I'll be right back. It's time for an iced coffee break. Then I need to get out to the front, lay down the cardboard, and cover it with mulch. I've been putting that off, but first I want to show you this Bradford pear tree. It is gorgeous. On the way to the garage, let's see if the jugs are dry enough to write on the germination date. And check if the red cabbage is finished soaking up water and pour off the extra. We're going to leave it a little bit longer. The drainage holes are kind of small and it's taking more time to soak up the water. There's a little dry layer of soil still on top. So let me go enjoy my iced coffee. It's the first day of cold coffee because it's the first really warm day. Did you see that bee? It kept thinking about coming in the garage. I think it's a carpenter bee. The pollinators are here today. That's exciting. Time to get back to work. Let's see if I have enough cardboard to finish covering the front garden. The white cabbage butterflies, they're already around. So I want to keep the garage door closed so they don't go in and lay eggs on those cabbage seedlings. I've already covered and mulched the front edge where we dug up those ever-bearing strawberries. Now let's see how much of the rest of the garden we can get finished. Do you see the first tulip? I have 10 bags of mulch. I don't need to pin the cardboard down because the heavy mulch will hold it in place. I doubt we'll have any uncovered cardboard. I laid the bags on the cardboard to hold it in place so they don't blow away. I'll get it all spread, and then on the next recycling day, I'll collect more cardboard because we didn't have enough to finish the garden. And cardboard is a sustainable, free way to control your weeds. I'll order more of this mulch. Home delivery, I can get 8 bags with free delivery. 9 bags, it's a $35 fee. I think it's based on weight. I don't want to pay a delivery fee because now Dale can't go and pick these up in the car. If he did, it would mean he would always have to wear a mask in the car because with his liver transplant medications for the rest of his life, if he gardens, works in the garage or our old basement, he has to wear gloves and a mask. He's at high risk of pneumonia from all those spores. Luckily, gardening's not his thing, it's mine. It's great working on this beautiful day, but I am not used to this heat. Have you seen the beautifully flowering trees, though? Don't put it on too thin, and you want to put it all the way to the edge. This is going to break down over the summer. Got a little bit more to go. And where I need to overlap with cardboard, I want to keep the mulch away from that edge. Those are my huge, tall, mammoth sunflowers that self-seeded. And one is growing exactly in the spot that a sunflower grew last year. I'm going to leave it there to see if it gets taller than the other ones I transplant later. I'm going to pin down the edges of the cardboard because it will curl up in the heat of the sun and squirrels will try to tunnel under it. So let's get it pinned down till the new mulch arrives. Do you want to see what a wild onion flower looks like? Come here. They're pretty, but boy, do they get out of control. Did you see the root? I did pour off that excess water into the bucket. Now let's see if the red onions have roots. Dale's taking out the trash. My goal is to stay organized. There's still more to do, more strawberries to thin, but I'm satisfied with what we got done today. I'm going to rest in the garage and watch the birds. Thank you for visiting Withrow Urban Homestead. See you later. Bye-bye.